Being able to get about is one, being able to go to the toilet is the other. But for lots of people, they are real challenges. And a few moments' time, we'll meet a man from Leeds who's campaigning to make those challenges a little bit easier. First, BBC Radio.
Need for changing places in Leeds. Train and bus station.
That's Colin McDonnell and the speech he made through voice technology to a full meeting of Leeds City Council. Colin's 24 and he has a double distinction in a business and IT diploma. But a rare condition called type 1 glutaric aciduria means he uses a wheelchair and, if he wants to go anywhere, needs an adult changing facility called Changing Places. Just a handful of the country's railway stations have them. Leeds isn't one of them. And Colin, backed by his friend Nathan Popple, is campaigning to change that.
Without changing places, loved ones are often cared for on inappropriate and unsafe places.
So, Colin, what was it like to address the full council meeting? What was that like? What about the response that you got?
Yeah.
Standing ovation. So, Mum Susan, let's bring you in here. It's not a disabled toilet we're talking about here, is it?
No, not at all. People can be too disabled to be able to use the disabled toilets. Their needs are very, very different.
You showed me a list of bus and rail stations. Yes. Colin's home city.
Not there. Not there.
What's that like for you?
There's enough restrictions already about being able to take care of medical needs, social needs, and not being able to set off and go and do the things that everybody else just takes as being a natural thing to be able to do.
Colin, your man mentioned those facilities that you've got here. Shall we go have a look?
Yeah. Colin would come into the room, there's plenty of space. Everything has to be done in a specific way. Colin also would have a hoist, a sling that's actually positioned on him. So as soon as we've got this facility, we can lift Colin from his chair up and across onto a proper changing facility.
And dignity,
yes.
Susan.
Yes, yeah.
How often do you think we overlook the need for dignity for adults with extra needs? Are we guilty of that?
Very much so, obviously. You know that it's possible for this to make so much difference.
Well, I'm pleased to say that Colin and Susan join us in the studio. Morning, Colin. Morning, and morning, Susan, as well. Susan, I think it's probably important to talk about why you need this and the difference it makes to you, if you will, for people that don't quite get why you need these kind of facilities.
Yeah, well, most of the time as you go out, you'll see disabled toilets. A lot of people, the disabilities are far more than what they could actually use those. So there isn't any alternatives. Once a person outgrows a changing mat that are used in baby changing rooms, there isn't any way of actually changing with any dignity, with any safety, or of course, taking care of hygiene and any other things.
Yeah. Colin, does this affect whether you want to go out or not?
Yeah.
You can't make a trip out unless, that's the first thing that we have to check as we're going out, along with everything else that has to go with you. It isn't just a matter of picking up your bag, your keys, your money and going out. Everything has to be planned. So wherever you go, all of those things, from being able to access through a doorway, through any of those things. But obviously, if you're going out for any period of time, you do need to know that you can make yourself comfortable. These changing places are accommodating so many different needs as well. Colin obviously has very definite needs that are obvious. But in 2009, it was suggested that there is over 250,000 people within the UK that actually are in need of this.
Wow.
So there, and obviously all the time, new diagnosis, new people
it's constantly changing.
Are needing, and a lot of them are also have been able to access things as you would expect to be able to do, and that changes. And that's another big thing, that when your needs change, that you then feel as though you can't go out.
So the Network Rail said they're committed to inclusive design. It's got facilities at Birmingham, Reading, London and King's Cross. Does it have the facilities you need, Colin, at Leeds Station?
No.
what is it that you actually? What is it within those facilities that you need?
Beds and a hoist.
Colin needs a hoist so that he can be transferred out of his chair because he's wheelchair dependent. He has to keep a sling within his chair because that's another thing that's very difficult in any of his movements. So he has to keep the sling in situ all the time. If he has a hoist and a change in bed, then it's both a safe transfer both for himself but also for the carers that are taking care of him also.
Yeah, and this isn't just, it's not about the physical need, is it? It's about the fact that, Colin, you're a grown-up, you're an educated man, you've got a double distinction in IT and in business. You at the moment aren't being treated like an ordinary grown-up, I guess. No. How much extra stress does this place on you when you want to go about your life and business?
You have to do loads of research.
Yeah. I mean, for you as a family, that just must place a lot of strain on the pair of you as well.
Well, yes, obviously. Colin also had to travel down quite on a regular basis, medical reasons, down to London. That was another thing, but once we were aware that, again, as you said, King's Cross does have a change in places there, you can set out on that journey knowing that at least you can take care of any needs once you get there. Just from going out of the door to getting, to being able to rely on public transport, on taxis, all of that is a challenge by itself. So being able to plan things.
Finally, what message would you like to give to people at Leeds Station in particular?
Okay, Colin's actually saying that this even can't wait until the new developments that's going on. We know that there's an awful lot of money going to be spent on redeveloping the existing train station. But he feels very strongly that this actually shouldn't be waiting until then. We are looking out for both the residents of Leeds, but also looking at people travelling to Leeds, wanting to come to Leeds. If we hear of somewhere where there is these facilities, then we know that we want to go visit that area. We want to be involved in it. We've got people coming in for medical reasons, professional reasons into Leeds, and we're not offering them this. So encouraging them to come here.
Well, thank you for being here this morning. I really genuinely hope they listen to that because they have a duty to provide people with dignity.
Exactly.
And you're a prime example of that. I want to thank you both for coming in, Colin and Susan. Thanks, Colin. Thanks, Susan. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.